So my background, I have a Bachelor's of Science in Finance. I have a Master's of Science in Accounting. I've always loved finance, economics, and actually movies and storytelling. But I've had a fiat day career for about 25 years. I started off in the Big Four accounting with what was Ernst & Young. It's now EY. They just laid off, I think, 130 partners the other day, which was kind of interesting. After about 5 years at EY paid for my master's in accounting at University of Virginia. I left accounting. I traveled the world for about 3 months. I went to Fiji, Australia, New Zealand. And then I came back and I went to New York Film Academy for 2 months. And I tried filmmaking, and then I spent about 1.5 years, 2 years in film production. And I kept just finding myself back in finance, accounting, and operations, helping filmmakers and television production companies. I was a controller and it's sort of the interim CFO for reality television production company, and we grew it from like 10 million to 50 million. But then, I started a family, and we moved to Chicago from New York, and there wasn't much entertainment. I went back to just straight accounting, corporate accounting consulting. That's what I still do during the day. It's been a great career, even though it's maybe not the most fulfilling work or whatever that means. I get to raise my family and things of that nature. I was noticing that it was hard to keep up in the economy, to raise a family, to every year you get your 3 or 4% raise, and then summer camp goes up 8%, and the house you want to move into keeps going up 12% a year. So that can be very frustrating. This Bitcoin thing, they're screaming, they're yelling, and I could be kind of argumentative. So if someone's going to kind of say something in absolute terms, that's going to want to make me refute them and prove them wrong and enjoy that. So Bitcoiners gave me a lot of arguments to sort of chase down, and I found that I couldn't really refute these arguments, and that kind of piqued my interest even more. While that was happening, Bitcoin is just racing in price. This is 2017. I've been a very conservative person my whole life. From a traditional background in finance, diversified portfolio, building my 401k, things of this nature. I'm starting to try to chase down this Bitcoin knowledge, and it seems like I gotta go somewhere besides Twitter. I'm reading some articles, and I'm going on podcasts, and I'm listening to What Bitcoin Did with Peter McCormack, and I'm finding Stefan Livera and Marty Bent. And I go through the whole crap coin casino and all the lessons that come with that. And COVID comes, so I've learned my lessons. I've built my conviction in Bitcoin. I've been talking to my friends and family about this for 2 years now, driving them nuts and sounding like a lunatic. And but some people are like, oh, maybe you should start a podcast. And I do have an interest in creating content. And I remember 20 years ago, I went to film school, and I'm like, all right. And COVID comes, and I'm no longer commuting to work. So now I have much less time to listen to the podcasts that I want to listen to. And I've orange-pilled my wife, so she's listening to podcasts. And then actually after the summer in 2020, I'm going back to the office a few days a week, and I'd come home, and she'd be listening to McCormack in the kitchen, telling me what a nice accent he has. And it was kind of like, all right, I have a lot of good reasons to start a podcast. And on September 28th, I recorded a show with Pierre Richard, and on October 9th I dropped 4 shows, and we had a total of 54 people tune in. And I was working with a producer because I didn't know how to get this thing started, and I called him up and I said, so I guess we're done here, there's no one listening. But he was like, well, actually I think this is the best show I've ever launched, or most people have ever tuned in. So I had 1,100 followers on Twitter. I had no show handle and no YouTube. And you could see this is the audio downloads for the last 3 years. So this was October 9th, and this was about 1.5 years in when we reached 10,000 downloads a month. So you could see the growth. You could see sort of fighting through this is probably the first bull market I saw, and fighting through the bear market. Also, my father passed away. You can see sort of fighting through that. But I still think we're going up the whole way. But
Being able to move $1 million from, New York to Tokyo is only the second order idea. It allows you to bypass the Fed, and it allows you to bypass all the credit layers. So you don't need the central bank, you don't need the correspondent bank, you don't need the credit card network, etc. Yeah, all nice. The bigger idea is I manifest the money in cyberspace, because something in cyberspace never dies.
That was some of my chat with Michael Saylor. It's been sort of an interesting, I guess, part of that journey is getting to interview someone like Michael. It took almost 2 years in the making, or a year of asking and trying to get it together. And I think I asked 3 questions during the 2.5 hours we spoke. You can literally figure that out.
This podcast is relevant, which is that when you have a problem that is literally all around you, you're born in it, you never imagine a world without it, which in our system is our money system. It couldn't be a better analogy. And so the fact that the best Bitcoin memes are Matrix memes is not a coincidence. It's literally a perfect, like, one-to-one matchup.
So that's kind of why I named the show. I mean, I named the show before I met with Lynn, but we're sort of in the fiat matrix, and we just accept inflation like the way fish don't know they're in water. And it's hard to explain that to people. And when you talk about Bitcoin, which has, in most people's eyes, it sounds like this newfangled thing. It sounds like it has nothing to do with the world we're in. Now I have a show that takes all my time, and so, but my Twitter profile is now over 27,000 followers. I don't know if you guys know CK Snarks. He used to be the general manager of Bitcoin Magazine. He runs the he used to run the Bitcoin conference. Essentially, now he's at the Human Rights Foundation. Very early on, I was tweeting, trying to, all this is new to me in terms of running a show, and so I was trying to, do social media, market the show, and he DM'd me and he was like, just stop whatever you're doing right now. Don't tweet anymore. You have to learn how to meme. You're just not making any sense on Twitter. And so I had to learn how to meme, and now I have over 27,000 followers, so I think I'm doing something okay there. The show, brand new from scratch, has almost 8,000 followers on Twitter. And YouTube, we got 3,500 subscribers, but
peaceful and makes you hopeful. Thank God Bitcoin has been invented. And once you see it, it's just, you get into the Zen state. I mean, Bitcoiners are very optimistic and hopeful for the future. And Bitcoiners understand what's broken, and they understand that they have the solution. And it's, and we understand that we're kind of on the cutting edge. I mean, it's like, it was fun back investing in the internet in 1994 and going, that'd be great. And that's the same feeling I'm getting with Bitcoin and Bitcoiners. And yeah, the mindset is, isn't it wonderful that this technology was invented, which solves an incentive problem that's existed since the beginning of time, which is that people left to their own devices will cheat. I mean, we're all flawed, and we will cheat. And here's a form of monetary economics where you can't cheat.